All right, guys, Evan Aldo here. Quick crypto market update and stock market update. Latest trade I took in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord was yesterday around almost 6 p.m. And this did pretty well. Hit first take profit. Should have probably still been in this. I added to it on the live stream last night to have a little bit of fun. Risk free. That's another thing that I do a lot. Add to the trade, set the new average entry, stop loss to new average entry point. So you can kind of play with house money a little bit. Always fun to do in the streams. Got stopped out in profit set, did really well. If you guys are interested, link down below. Also got another trade in right now, but don't want to show it to you. Kind of unfair to the people already in the Discord. So if you're interested, check that out. So let's get into it right now. So basically the first thing that I'm looking at in terms of like, to show you guys ultimately what I think could happen in the short term, you got a nice little trigger wave on the daily, money flow coming up. That looks pretty good for, a continuation upward. When I look at funding fees here, I also see how, a lot of people are kind of trying to short this, maybe opening up shorts. Typically, when that happens, you do continue forward. You even have kind of a green dot on the 2-day coming up. So it does seem possible that we might be able to close September as a potential green month. However, we do have the options expiring tomorrow, so that could maybe we pump up until that, and then that kind of really brings us down quickly, as crypto can be volatile. So we'll pay attention to that. Now, ultimately, when I look at some of these time frames, like the 2-hour, money flow is still kind of coming up. You're not going to get a bearish div anytime soon. Nothing looks too bad. Money flow kind of coming up on the 3-hour as well. Does not look too bad. Money flow starting to come up on the 4-hour as well too. So 5-hour, same thing. So nothing looks too bad. And even if we look at these really low time frames, you're not going to get a bearish div anytime soon. Money flow coming down on the 30-minute, but still not that bad. And I think you could kind of come up a little bit more here. I mean, you do have a bear div on the 10, but money flow is not that bad here. And I think ultimately 27.43, that wick up, and then this area is going to be pretty big going into the short term. I mean, obviously we've kind of just bounced around a while. I wanted to do let's just see the volume area from where we kind of started in this range to now. And yeah, we broke above this. So ultimately, given that we broke above this area, 26.7 about, ultimately, I think that could bring us, if we do a little kind of technical target out of this breakout here from that volume range, potentially up to 27.8, this area, 27.7, that area is going to be pretty big, which I think there's a good shot we could break up that high. So that's ultimately what I'm looking at for Bitcoin right now. After that, though, I do think that ultimately when you look at this, you get a 16 bear on market cipher DBSI on the monthly trigger wave. I do think this is going to confirm and play out, and I think October is going to be our bad month. Now, if you look at, go to regular candles here. If you look at what happened here, so this was September of 19, which was in our previous accumulation year, which was a really bad month. October was the green month. I think we're going to see more of, I think we're kind of a month ahead of this where we're kind of like here, October turns as September, and then November's the real kind of, excuse me. This month is going to be like how October was. September is like October, and then October, the next month will be like November of 2019, where we really see us come down. And then I think November of this year potentially could be the exactly a year after this low at 15K could be where we make our higher low, potentially around low 20s, high teens. My guess would be low 20s around your 300 weekly moving average. That's what I'm kind of looking at right now for that. Now, let's move on a little bit. Bitcoin dominance is coming up throughout this. It looks pretty good, back above 50%. If you look at the weekly, money flow looks like it's still strong. And I mean, the main thing for Bitcoin dominance that, a lot of, I already had this drawn out. You have a technical target up here at around 60%. I don't know if we're going to get up to 60%, but I think what I would look for to potentially start to get into altcoins is that 55% range. So I think we're going to see that ultimately into the end of the year. If we do make it up to 60%, that's probably going to be sometime in Q1 or Q2 of next year. So that's ultimately what I'd be looking at for Bitcoin dominance. Let's move on to Ethereum here. So Ethereum right now, let me get up the, obviously it's going to look a lot like Bitcoin. This is kind of your Wyckoff thing, which I think will eventually come down to 1200, which is a big area. That's going to be your 300 weekly moving average at 1200. So I think we could come down farther, obviously. But in the short term, weekly, it's coming into the red, but you're about to come up with the VWAP. Short term, I would say a little bit more bullish, like Bitcoin, but I think that could reverse course and drop down relatively quickly as we come up a bit more. And when I look at kind of, your bullet, trigger wave stuff coming up like that, here coming up, so money flow coming up. And then not really a bullish div, but still looks kind of good on your daily. And then if we look at potential next spiral line right there, 1673, I do think we can make it a little bit higher here, potentially up to this moving average as well. The 200 moving average on the 5 hour could be significant. And then right here, 1700, potentially even a little bit higher. That high could be big as well. Ultimately, though, ETH keeps generally bleeding against Bitcoin. So I do think that if you're going to be going long, Bitcoin is probably the better option, in my opinion. That's most of my longs lately have been in Bitcoin. And then money flow coming up into the green right there, that just rolled over. Maybe, and this one just rolled over right here as well, maybe third time is the charm where it finally brings us up a little bit more. That's my main guess here, that we finally come up a little bit more. Keeping an eye in this area, 1676, keeping an eye in the area. And if we just look at, I'm just curious about ETH versus Bitcoin right here. It came up a little bit in the short, on the 2 day, the 3 day, some green hike and ashies, but in the very short term here, since about past week, or past week, today we're starting to come back down, which is ultimately what I'm looking at there, to potentially come back down farther. And if we look at traditional markets here, they're kind of following crypto right now. They've kind of broken apart as crypto's held up, as the S&P 500 came down a bit here, but it looks like both of them may have a little bit more to come up, especially with this 4 hour money flow coming up right there. And if you look at, I just want to do a little kind of technical target thing, from this, weird reverse head and shoulder type thing, we're breaking out of that area. 437, for if you add on maybe another 70 points, if you look at the SPX, another 70 points for the actual S&P 500, I do think you come up a little bit more with that. I think once you get up to, though, these areas like 437, that's where you got to look for potentially reversing and coming down a bit farther. The last thing I want to show you guys, though, and by the way, guys, before I show you oil here, if you guys want to trade it, check out FAIRDESK. We're doing a trading competition down below. Also, check out MEXC. We're doing a promo there too. If you deposit at least $100, you get a $200 trading bonus, only with my link down below. And so yeah, check those out. All great exchanges. If you know how to trade, if you know what you're doing, if you don't know what you're doing, try to get educated first about it. Watch more of my videos. I do have 2 courses that are pretty good. One's a more long-term investing course. One's a trading course. A lot of people have really liked them. Also, in the Discord, we have me and 3 other analysts that provide a lot of really good TA. So get educated first before you check those out. But yeah, moving on. Let's look at ExxonMobil. We were talking about this a bit. This is potentially kind of going to break up further. You do have kind of a triple top here, but you're already breaking up more. You're at 120 or 119. Technical target out of this breakout would be around 133. So that's a big place to look as oil keeps coming up. You may see oil come up a bit more here as we see more kind of stagflation, and then I think we could get to potentially 130 in the next month or so, and then the Fed may kind of end the fun and come in and raise rates. So that's what we got to look at right there, especially. So that's ultimately the main things I'm looking at right now. The last thing, I know I said that oil was last, but last thing we'll look at, obviously the DXY is coming up, probably coming down a little bit. I think it'll come down maybe a little bit more, kind of a healthy correction, and then you'll probably get maybe this bull div, if you could see money flow coming up here. And some of these, bull div on the 30 to potentially bring us higher and get to our kind of technical target at 109 as things probably continue to come down into or during the month of October. I think October is going to be a pretty red month for traditional markets and crypto as well. So that's all I got right now, guys. Check out the links down below. Check out the Discord. Smash the like button, leave the thumbs up, and check out evanaldo.com. We have a lot of good stuff going on in the Discord, so check it out. All right, guys, have a good one. Goodbye.